Good morning, everyone. So today we are going to learn how to calculate NDVI using a Landsat data. In the last two video tutorials, we have seen how to add a satellite image in R, how to read an satellite image, then how to create a layer stack image, and then various methods of image subsetting, mosaicing, and then how to read the pixel values from a satellite data. So today we are going to add a layer stack image in R, and from that image we'll calculate the NDVI, we'll store it, and then using a different threshold NDVI value we are going to classify an image. So we will start with reading our packages. So in this case we will use two packages as raster and rgdal. So in line number 2 and 3 I have added the code how to read a pre-installed package. Then I will run them one by one. So once I am done with this reading packages, then I will set the working directory. So this is my working directory. I am having on Landsat 8 data and Landsat 5 data. So I will use this Landsat 5 data and will use one previously saved Landsat 5 layer stacked image. So we'll read that. So I will use this path to set my directory. So I'll run this and I can check the directory path. Now I'll read this image in a variable sfcc1. So you can see in sfcc1 it only stores the file name. Now I have to declare that this is a layer stacked image. So there are two options. I can use the stack function or brick function. So either we will use this stack function or brick function. So I'll save the output in another variable sfcc2, and if we use the stack function, what it will do, it will declare this data as a layer stack image, and you can see from the data details it has 6 number of layers, and you can see the spatial resolution, the extent, the projection information, and minimum maximum values for each band. Similarly, if you use this brick function, again one can get the layer stack image. Again we can see there are 6 number of layers and the other data details. Now if we want to plot this image, we can use this plot RGB function, and here the scale we don't need 65,000. We can use this 255 here also. So so this is our Landsat image style. Now I'll crop in portion of the image using a block boundary. We will use this Kendrapada boundary from Odisha state, and that boundary will use to crop the image, and over the cropped image we will calculate the NDVI. So to read a shapefile, we have to use the function read OGR, and then we'll add the path of the file followed by a comma, and within this double inverted comma we'll add the file name. So if I run this line, and then we can plot the shapefile over the image. So here I will plot the shapefile. It is currently being stored in t_shp, and add equals to true, so it will overlap over the satellite image. Now you can see the vector file is overlapped on the satellite image. Now we will crop the satellite image using the vector area vector shapefile. Once it is cropped, we can again check the minimum maximum values for each of the band and other layer information. Then we will plot this cropped image using same plot RGB function. So this is our cropped image. Now we will calculate NDVI. So NDVI indicates or highlights the vegetation, and the formula of NDVI is near infrared minus red divided by near infrared plus red. So in this case we are having near infrared band in our band number 4 and red band in our band number 3. So to read a band, particular band from a layer stack image, we will use the third bracket twice. So if we use, and within bracket we will mention the number of layer we want, particular layer number we want. So if we write in this way, so it will extract the layer number 4. Similarly, for red band we will write in a similar way, and here instead of 4 we will write 3 as our band number 3 is red band. So similarly we will write for the denominator, and now we will run this line to calculate NDVI, and you can see the minimum maximum values of the NDVI layer. Now if we plot this NDVI, we will get this kind of image. So here higher values is indicated by green, and you can see the green features are highlighted, which are basically indicating the forest areas. Now if we want to save this NDVI layer in our system, so we can write in this way. First we will start with this write raster function, and then the file we want to write, then the file name, format, and data type. In this case it will be a float data, as NDVI is a float data. So the data type should be mentioned as float. So we can save our data in the system, and now we want to create a window where we can plot multiple image tiles. So for that we have to use this power function, and here we will write mf row, and within that we will mention the number of rows and number of columns we want to create. So if I run this, now if I plot this NDVI, it will occupy one of the 6 your boxes. Now I can plot the SFCC image in another window for comparison. Now you can see these are the forested areas, this bright red colored pixels, these are the forested areas, and you can see higher NDVI values for this kind of patches. And these are the water bodies. You can see these are basically showing the negative values, and there are some croplands which are having moderate or low positive NDVI values, and these are the fallow land areas or bare areas. You can see for them the NDVI values is quite low, near to 0. So we will use this kind of NDVI value range to categorize this NDVI image into 4 classes as forest, water body, then some vegetation or cropland, and fallow land. So for forest, I will take a NDVI threshold of 0.27. You can define your own NDVI range based on your study area, or you can also extract few pixel values for forest or different land cover classes, and you can define your range for each of these classes. So here I will take some random values to categorize the NDVI image in 4 classes. So for forest, I am taking a NDVI threshold of 0.27. All the pixels having NDVI values more than 27 will be categorized as forest. I will use this logical operator if it is greater than 0.2 values. So all the pixels will be assigned in the variable forest. So now if I run this line and if I check the variable, I can see there are only two values, 0 and 1. So here 0 indicates all the pixels which are having NDVI values less than 0.27, and 1 indicates all those pixels which are having NDVI values greater than or equals to 0.27. If I plot, I will get a binary image. You can see these green color pixels are all the pixels having value 1 and rest of the pixels are value having 0. Now similarly for cropland, we will use the NDVI range of 0.17 to 0.27, and in this case we will use the AND operator to define our range. So NDVI greater than 0.17 and NDVI less than 0.27 will be our cropland class. And again, if you check the variable, you will get a value of 0 and 1, a binary image. But this, let us plot this image, and here we will assign a color. So for pixel values 0, we will assign a color of white, and the pixel values having 1, we will assign a color yellow 3. It will appear. Okay. So now you can see the binary image for cropland. Now you can see the binary image values for forest was 0 and 1. Again for cropland it is 0 and 1. But we want to differentiate between these two classes. So we will multiply 2 with the cropland and we will save it as cropland underscore n variable, so that the pixel values for these two classes are different. So similarly for HelloLand, we will use the range of 0 to 0.17, and you can again see the values are 0 and 1, the binary image. We will plot the image, and again to make it different from other two classes as forest and cropland, this time we will multiply with 3, so that the pixel values will be 1, 2 and 3, indicating forest, cropland and fallowland. Similarly for water, we will use the NDVI threshold of 0, so all the negative values will be water body. If you see again, the binary image is showing the value of 0 and 1, and this time if you plot, we will get all the pixels which are having negative NDVI values, and you can see this is the fallowland area image, binary image, and all the gray pixels are fallowland or having NDVI values 0 to 0.17. Now we will create an image window which will have only one row and one column, so that it will create an entire big image in the plot area. Now let us take a sum of these 4 individual classes, so we will get the complete land use land cover map. So we will take the sum of forest, cropland, fallowland and water body. So for forest it will be only forest, but for rest of the 3 classes we will take the modified values, so that the class numbers are different. for each of this class. And if I run this and check the value of land use land cover, so now we will get the value of 0 to 4. It indicates forest as 1, then for cropland 2, then for fallowland 3, and water body 4. Now we want to plot this image, and if you want to assign your own color, you can use this color function. So I have added 4 colors with some numerical and alphanumerical values. So these are basically hex code. So here I have added what is these 4 colors. So first one is green, second one is yellow, third one is gray, and fourth one is blue. So you can search in Google and let's say this hex code. So if you want a particular color, you can change the intensity also, and this is the hex code indicating this particular color. So in this way you can choose your own color and you can add here, but in front of that you have to add a hash symbol, otherwise it won't recognize the color. So if I plot this, I will get an image with 4 land use land covers and their legend. You can see there are 4 classes, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and instead of these numerical values we want a legend that will indicate the 4 classes. So to do that we can use this make plot function. We don't want this, and there we will add this legend equal to false, then we will get an image and there will be no legend. Now if I want to add a legend, then we have to use this legend function, and there are some components or parameters we have to assign. You can check the components using this function legend and add a question mark. If you run this line, you will get a complete list of parameters and their brief description. Okay, so you can check this description carefully. So here I have added few parameters for each description, whether I want a background for the legend or its text size, text color, whether it will be horizontal or vertical, all those things. And the classes, the name of classes I have added, their colors, and the type of your indices I will use. If I run this, I will get a colorful legend. So in this way you can create a NDVI image, you can classify it depending different threshold values, and then you can create a map out of it. So now I will stop here and hope it was easy to understand this entire procedure. Thank you everyone.